Norm here for another Cakewalk tutorial questionnaire. If you have a question, definitely come into the room. I will try to answer them the best that I can. I have received some questions that I am trying to figure out the answer to. Um, so I'm going to be doing some researching over the next few days. Good. I just want to make sure my audio is working. I know that many people are having trouble with being able to do the basics in Cakewalk, which is like recording, saving, exporting, things like that. But then I know some people are having trouble with Cakewalk working correctly at all. So we're going to bring it up. We're going to get it going. And if you have a question or if you want to just stop and say hi, definitely say hi. I'm going to be live for maybe about a half an hour to 45 minutes. So if it's something I can get within that time, I definitely will get within that time. Tomorrow I also will be just answering questions live. It'll probably be around the same time, around 10 o'clock, 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I am right now. So if you see me looking back and forth, just know I have two screens in front of me. So a few things that I was working on earlier. I was working on this whistle beat that I had before. And this whistle beat, I had a little rap on there. I might actually expand on it. But I'm trying to work on getting more different types of vocal presets that you can use. But anyway, I won't worry about that right now. Here's a song that I wrote. You can see how old it was when I wrote it, because if you know anything about Cakewalk, you might remember when we had the BBE Sonic Maximizer or the Rolling Groove synth. So these are some of the old things that I have. And what I'm going to have to do is actually go through here and apply different sounds to it. So I think I did this before. Okay, this is a TTS. That's very low. Turn this volume up some. Okay. All right, so this is a beginning process of this song. I actually wrote this song, probably want to say when I was 18, 19, 20, which was a lot of the songs that I had wrote. But this one does have melody, and I believe I have some words for it. But this song is called With No Regret. It is a spiritual gospel song, basically, but on the jazzy side. So that's one project I got to work on. I'm just going to be going through some of these projects to try to clean them up and really try to put them together, because I need to work on releasing my first album. I've released an EP, which had 4 songs on it, and I've released 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 songs since then. So I definitely have enough songs to I can re-release everything. What you're probably gonna do is go back and record some of my older stuff again, because I got a lot of songs that I never did finish. Let's see what this is. It's called New Song. What is it? Let's see what it is. Another older song. See if anything plays, because yep, I'm able to open. Okay, because this is at 44:16. If you have a project like this where it comes up and it gives you that message, then just know that you have to go into my Xer. I have to go there and change it. Now, I'm not going to change it because if I change it, it's going to make my audio act weird, but I won't worry about it right now. But for this, I'd have to take that project and I'll have to change from 48 to 44 because back then that's what I was recording at. Or I can save it as 48. Let's see what else is on here. If anybody's in the room, feel free to say something. All right. Right now, I'm just kind of going through some of my old projects that I know that I got to work on. And if you have any questions about Cakewalk, definitely feel free to shoot them in the comments. Let's see. Got this. Just Norm. Acapella. Is this a project? Ah, it's a template. Okay. Cakewalk. Hey, what's up, Big Poppy? How you doing? How have you been? 500 sub. Let's see, YCK, YCQ. I remember I had did something with this too as well. TS64 is not on there. I feel like I'm missing some plugins. Hold on, let me see something. Where is the TS64? It should be on here. TS. Let me go up here and look. Let's find out. Is there some stuff that I have disabled? Show excluded. Drum replacer. Let me see what else is on here. I feel like I should have that already on here, but for some reason I don't see it. Direct. ST. That's weird. I don't know. I should have had that on there. I don't think I did that. Yeah. I don't know why this isn't on there. This should be on here though. Cause this was like, I did this not too long ago. TS64. TS64. I swear lately I've been going in since like some stuff been disappearing. I don't know if they disappearing or I'm just tripping. Because that should be on here. If I'm not mistaken. Oh, you know what? But at one point in time I did reset all of my plugins. Maybe it's, maybe it's somewhere. I don't know. I don't see anything show excluded. Show permanently excluded. Maybe I excluded it that way. Ooh, okay. Maybe it's another place that I'm missing. Let me go to rescan failed. Rescan existing. Let's see if it finds what I'm looking for. Yeah, but anyway, I had like a modulator. This song was something that I think I went live. This pops up because I used to have Slate Digital, but I don't have it anymore. So I need to just like take that out so it stops popping up. But that's because I'm doing a whole scan of everything because I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know what it is, but. So what you been up to, Big Poppy? You all enjoying your day? Here's another one. This vocal line was nice, but so I used to have Slate Digital when I had my old computer, and in fact, I think one or two songs I used a lot of those plugins, and I really did like the plugins. I'm not gonna lie, I liked them. It's always good to have extra toys to play with because everything has its own unique sound, right? Because, you'll see a person that says, "Hey, I want to get this certain sound." They'll just find a plugin that does it. Um, Even though there might be a plugin that does multiple of those sounds. Hey, Sebastian, how's it going? What's the question that you have? Hopefully, it's something that I can answer. Give me an easy one. Please give me an easy one. Like, because I received some questions the last few days. Like, someone was saying they had a red line going across their screen and they couldn't record. I was like, okay, I've never had that happen before. So I have to research. A lot of times I have to go check forums and see if anyone has the same problems, so that way I can figure out how to best give you all an answer. So, but go ahead and shoot. What's your question? Meanwhile, I'm just trying to see where these plugins are. Let me see. Add another folder. And let me go to C drive. Oh, no, let me go to my D drive, I think. Maybe it's not on here. 48. Yeah, 48 definitely. So 48 kilohertz is just going to allow you a lot more headroom as far as the brightness and the quality of recording. Of course, you can go higher than 48. You can go 96 too as well. So if you're doing like recording a movie, or something like that, then you might want to mix higher than that. But 48 is typically standard now. 48, 24 bit. Do I really know the difference? I know the difference between them. Is it something that you can sit and say, hey, here's 48 and here's 44. Can you hear the difference if you play them back to back? Maybe sometimes you can. Like some of my projects that are in 44, I can definitely tell the difference between 44 and 48. But like I said, if you have an untrained ear, you really won't hear the difference. But in the end result, when you get ready to export it as WAV, you bounce it down to 44. So it's better to start at a higher quality. So think of compressing it. So if you started at WAV and then you went to MP3, and let me zoom in real quick, zoom in like this, so you can see what I'm saying. If you was at WAV, and WAV is here, WAV is, lossless. It doesn't basically loses no quality. And then you compress it to MP3, then MP3 is more compressed, and there's different compressions of MP3 or AAC or any other format, basically like that. So same thing with WAV, or with audio. If you're recording at a higher, higher setup, and then you compress it to a lower setup, your quality is going to be better. But like I said, at the same time, you do whatever your system allows you. Keep in mind, 48 kilohertz uses more memory resources, and definitely using 24-bit, and it's going to make it a larger file too. So if you don't have a lot of space, just be conscious of that. But yeah, Sebastian had a question, but Sebastian, you still on here? You gonna answer the question? May I ask a question? Okay. Hey Joseph, how you doing? I saw you pop up. Man, I'm just trying to make sure I don't lose my train of thought while I'm talking. Got this new track, okay? Make sure, what do you say? Make sure you listen to that. It's a guitar solo, of course. Not as good as a Satriani, but okay, but close. All right. Your love, bro, and thanks. Oh man, I love you too, man. You all help me whether you realize it or not. Every time that you get on here and you provide questions and provide conversation, you just make me feel good. I remember times when I used to get on and nobody would be. I'd just be in here, it'd just be like recording the video. You're sitting there talking to yourself like, hey, and have you looked at this today? And how are you doing? You know, and then nobody says anything. You're like, oh, that's right. I forgot I'm talking to a camera. But I've gotten used to it because I've always been in front of a camera, even since I was a young kid at the age of 8 or 9 years old. I'm used to being in front of a camera. So, all right. So the reason why I'm right here in the Cakewalk plugin manager is because for some reason I cannot find, and this might not even have anything on here. So this is an old hard drive, but I'm gonna try to see if there's anything here that I'm missing. Okay, Sebastian, you said, haha, sorry about that. But I'm trying to figure out how to quantize notes, but they don't do it the way I want it. Whenever I do, the notes are too far apart or close. Okay. Good. That's a good question. I really like that question, which means I really need to do another video dealing with quantizing, basically. I don't know. It's like I don't know where this TS64 is. It used to be on here. But anyway, I have to look at that another time. I don't know where it is. It was here originally. Unless they got rid of the plugin. Maybe they got rid of it. All right, so let me go. Let me create a new project. All right, a new project just for you. I could have did it there. I'm going to go to the start screen. Hey, you all, like if you're dealing with the start screen and like some reason that goes away, all you got to do is click file and go back to start screen and it'll pop back up. And then you can do a new project here. Of course, you can always create your own templates too as well. That'll pop up here. So, and I can show you how to do that if you're interested in doing that. Let's do an empty project. All right. Sorry, I probably can't see everything because my big face is still up there. There we go. All right. So here's an empty project, and I am going to record something. I don't know. I'm going to record. Sebastian, what kind of instrument were you trying to record? Like drums or guitar, bass? Let's do. Oh, I got the loop player. Okay, the RXP is back on. That's from the and there SFZ is. Maybe that's why I couldn't find those. Categorized waves. Okay. A synth. Okay. All right. So let's do a synth. Let's find a complete control synth. All right. TTS. Okay. Well, let's do TTS then. TTS. I hope TTS works now. Yeah, it's a humor behind that, but I just finished putting out a song called The Only One for Me, and for some reason, every time I was working on that song, I could not use TTS. It kept going. It kept just crashing Cakewalk, which is really weird to me, but I think this time it should be fine. Hopefully this device is on. Yeah, good it is. Okay, so I'm using the Impact LX25 MIDI controller. I talk about it all the time. I really need to buy another controller. I can tell my latency is off because I had it set on safe the last time. I had it all. If you're dealing with a lot of plugins and you feel like stuff is starting to freeze up or you're getting like weird noises, I was getting everything that could go wrong on this song that I was working on was going wrong. I mean, stuff was freezing, bass line was tripping, it was crazy. But anyway, you want to move this to make sure your buffer size is good. This is very important when you're dealing with quantize too as well, because if it's too close to safe, it's gonna be like late, and there might be some reason why. What does this say? Connected default 1.8. Can you all still hear me? There's some message popped up. Hold on one second. I want to make sure y'all can hear me still, cause yeah, I'm like something popped up on my streaming thing. Okay, good. Okay, you can still hear me. Okay, good. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure. All right. All right. So now you. All right. So that's better. Let me find a synth to use. Let's do. I said now you can hear it. Okay. I don't know what happened. Whew, my kids are coughing so bad. Synth lead. Let's do like a synth lead. All right. Oh, some of these keys are like. So I got one note that's sticking because I spilled something in there. All right, let's go down. All right, so I don't know. Let's record something. Hey James, how are you, my friend? How are you doing tonight or to morning? I don't know. Well, I don't know what it is. Depending on some of you all in different time zones. So, how are you doing at this moment? I'll put it like that. All right. Let's keep it 120. Is that cool? Does that work? Press record. All right. So now, of course, that was like very syncopated, but offbeat. Okay. All right. So one yen, a 2 yen, a 3 yen, 4 yen. All right. So of course, I'm gonna be moving to 16th notes, having problems getting separate inputs to work in TTS. Separate inputs. Okay. Okay, something was sticking for a second. I don't know why. I'll look in that. Good. I'm glad you are enjoying your life. That's what it's all about. And oh, Big Poppy, that was you that said that. Okay, I was like, I'm reading stuff wrong. Okay, getting separate inputs to work in TTS. All right, look at that. I don't know what's going on with this. Why? Oh, that's this. Is that this key? Let me reset that. For some reason, my like this synth. I mean, not this synth, but this controller is tripping. I really got to get a new one. But anyway, so now I got to figure out if I'm quantizing. I have to figure out what resolution I want to be at. So, so if this is like 16 notes, I could start with 16 notes. Hey Gary, how you doing? So I'm starting with 16 notes, and the duration just as simplest. Like I'm not worried about adjusting any of this. I'm not adjusting anything else. I'm just gonna keep it the way it is, and I'm gonna listen to it and see if I got it where it is. And I can audition it first. Okay, let's see. Now sometimes it does mess things up. Just keep in mind, quantize is something that was created to help you get everything stable as a machine. Okay, so keep that in mind. It was intended for you to get everything perfect in sync. But if you're a human, you might not want it perfectly in sync. Some parts you might have did it like a triad 30-second note triplet to 16th note or whatever with the 16 rests after that. I don't know. But you might have did some type of weird rhythm, and you might have really wanted that there. So sometimes the quantize can mess it up. And that's why you depend on the piano roll to edit it, or you can go into the event list, which is one of my favorite, Or if you read notation, you can go to the staff page or staff view. Okay, now latency is everything. Because my latency was better, now if I recorded this the way it sounded originally, when I press a key, and you can hear me press the key, you probably could. You hear the note, but right now the latency is really good. But earlier, when I would press a note, it would be like, no. So I would press it, and then the note would come in after that. This that keeps popping up is, so I've got my Xbox, which is tied into a capture card, which is plugged into my computer, and sometimes it wants to add itself to Cakewalk. I don't really need it on there, but so if you see that pop up. Okay. So Sebastian, now I know that was probably not the best idea, but that gives you an idea of how the quantize works. You said, but I'm reading your message again, what you said earlier. But I'm trying to figure out how to quantize notes, but they don't do it the way I wanted to. Whenever I do, the notes are too far apart or are close. Okay. So once again, if the resolution, and I can even look here too as well. If I just double click basically, but I can look here and see where everything lines up. Like right now, where I click at, I can tell, boom, this one is on the 8th note, basically. Let me see. All right. Okay. So now that let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. So up here to the right, there's what's it called? A musical snap resolution. So if you were trying to use a piano roll to put your notes in, you could do it that way too as well. I really don't like using it for this. I use piano roll for something different. But you put it on there, and then I can see that right now I have it set on 16th notes. So I can tell that this first note falls on the first 16th. And if you didn't know the number system behind, mix out of this, go to view. I got to remember some of these shortcuts too. Alt 8. All right, so event list looks like this. Don't ask me why it's green. Somehow I changed it green. Yours might be white. I don't know why mine's green. I really don't like the green color. Let me take that down so you can see it. But on here, I can see also that there are 11 events. So that means I played 11 notes, and I can see that the first note, all right, starts on 240. I'm getting that interference again. That note is like just kicking in. Something is telling it to play on this controller. What it is one of my pads is getting. One of my pads I broke. So, like, if you can see that, this. So I thought these pads on this impact came off like a year ago. I had an energy drink, something I probably should never had anyway. But I had an energy drink like on the side of my desk, and my daughter, bless her heart, she knocked it over, and it fell right on my impact, and it got all the keys messed up. Not all the keys, but it got all the pads messed up. So now some of the pads don't work at all anymore. But I think one of them is still sticking. All right, so yeah, so I'm here, and then I can see that this first event is starts on measure 2, beat 1, and the tick says 240. So on here, if you're doing things in 16th note, and if you want it to line up perfectly with 16ths, no, it's always going to be 240, 480, 720, and then 0. Those are all your 16th notes. If you're doing 32nd notes, you just divide it. So 240, oh, I moved that up. You can slide it up. Double click on it, press plus sign. I didn't mean to do that. All right, there we go. All right, so 240, you divide it, 120. So 120, 240, 360, 480, You got it, and you keep going on with your math, and those would be the 32nd notes. So then you have to figure out, okay, well, what's the triplets? So now the triplets I don't really have memorized, but I used to just memorize this stuff because this is how I learned how to play chords. Like I learned my dad's songs, my dad's original songs through an Elisa's MMT8, looking at data like this, where it wasn't, eighth notes and quarter notes and all that good stuff. Even though I did read music, but it was just looking at this, and I figured out what the chords were, and I figured out where the chords landed, what 16th notes they landed on, or what eighth notes they landed on. So if you're having problems with your quantize, that's the first thing. Make sure that you have it on the right resolution. So you go to Q, make sure it's set on duration 16. If you notice that you play 16 notes, but for some reason everything is spread farther apart, then that means you might have had it on eighth, or you might have it on eighth triplet. The strength goes up to 100%. This is if you want it perfectly quantized. If you want it slightly out of time, then you can reduce the strength of it. If you want to swing the note, so if I wanted to swing it, I can go either direction. Okay, and so now what it did is it kind of pushed everything a little ahead, and you actually saw it move. I don't know if you saw it. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Drag this track out. You can really see it. Okay. So you can actually see that it moved over a little bit. And then when I press Q, the window, and the good thing about it, like some of this stuff that you can actually ask for help, and then it'll open up the Cakewalk documentation. You all, this is one of your best friends. Hold on, let me pull it over real quick. So this is one of your best friends because this gives you so much valuable information. If it's something that you have a question about and you cannot find it on any videos, try to come here first. And if you can't find it here, or it's too hard to find it, definitely check out forums and just do a Google search, and you might get your answer. So the window, this value determines whether Cakewalk quantizes notes that are far from the quantization points or leaves them alone. Okay, a value of 100% quantizes every note. So if you wanted to set the window, then you can set it. You can say, hey, maybe I only wanted to quantize notes that fall on the downbeat, but anything else, leave it where it is. Or if I want everything to fall on the eighth note, so you can kind of set that and play with it. The offset, the value moves quantization grid forward or backward. What's up? Go ask your mom. Okay. The quantization grid forward or backward in the track, away from the beat boundaries. Okay. So, and then X fade, like some of the stuff I never use. Like I think the only thing I ever really used was just this section up here. MIDI event start time, select the option if you want to start times of the MIDI events in the selected data to move. In note duration, select this option if you want the length of notes to be edited to fit into the size you choose in the resolution field. Okay, so let's say, like for instance, if I held a note like that and then I let it go, well, that was a little bit over a quarter note. Maybe it was a half a note. And maybe when I quantize it, I want it to just be a half note. I don't want it to be over a half note. So then I can change that note duration part. Audio snap, select the option if you want audio snap transients to move. Okay, so there's another option if you're dealing with audio. And then audio clip start times, select this option if you want the beginning of audio clips to move, okay? And then only notes, lyrics, and audio. Just like, okay, so it says it will not modify the events, other events like controllers. So it only deal with the notes and lyrics and audio. So it won't do anything with MIDI, basically. There's a lot that you can do on there, and I need to put out another video because there's not just this quantize, but there's also groove quantize. And the groove quantize is to kind of improve on that humanistic range that we're really going for. We're trying to get the sound to sound more like a human's playing it. So there are different grooves that you can find. So there's a groove file, Cakewalk DNA grooves. So then I can go to like a laid back or soft shuffle, hard shuffle, resolution 16. You know, same thing. Some of the same settings that's on the other one. Okay. And then I can adjust that. Okay, you can tell now that it's not quite lined up. Bo-de, do-de, bo-de, bo-bo-bo, bo, bo. You know, it's not lined up directly on those 16 notes. It's slightly a little bit ahead. So, yeah, you can play with a lot. But once again, it's never a just set it and let it go. Even some of the like bass tracks that I create, sometimes it'll mess up something. Like if I was trying to play you know, or something like some type of run, it'll just go you know, I'll be like, that is not what I played. So you have to go back and tweak those things if something gets off. All right, Sebastian, I don't know if you're still on here. Hopefully that helps answer your question if you're still here. And then, okay, let me move on to the next question, which was, all right. Okay. Big Poppy was saying getting separate inputs to work in TTS. Okay, so realize TTS is a multi-input output module, basically. That's what it is. It's almost like a mixer, pretty much, for the most part. But it only has 4. Where is it at? What am I looking for? It only has 4 outputs. I think that's if I'm correct. If I am correct. So, I'm glad that helped, Sebastian. I'm glad it helped. So if I was creating some more MIDI tracks, let's say I'm creating some MIDI tracks. All right. So now the instrument track is a MIDI track in itself. It's a MIDI and an audio track combined. So keep that in mind. You can actually separate it if you want to separate it, but it's combined track. So I can send, for this one, I can set this to be channel 1 if I want to. Or that's input basically. Now, if I want to, let's say this is channel 1. Okay, and I know that's there. So let's say channel 2 is going to be here. I'm going to take the output of each of these, and I'm going to set them all to Cakewalk TTS. All right, and then input-wise, I can set this to MIDI channel 2. I can keep it on Omni. It doesn't really matter, but let's just say I'm putting it to 2. And this is really only for recording. This really has nothing to do with. So if I wanted to record off of that. Okay, it's still on. Oh, okay. You know, I do got to put on Omni. Sorry, got to put on Omni. Okay, now the part where I need to change actually Ed. I'm sorry that I wasn't in the right section. Duh, that's my fault. When you click on a track, make sure that you go to the left. All right, if you don't see it or you see some other options over here, just know that sometimes things may be checked up or these property over in a, what is this called again? I forgot the name of it right now. Ooh, my head is gone. All right, but up here on the little toolbar, I'm gonna call it toolbar right now. There are different options like, you know, pro channel. So I had the pro channel up, but that's not gonna work anyway for this. So you wanna go to track 2. This is where I change the channel 2, and then I can change the sound. And let's say I wanted this to be, I don't know what I want it to be. Fretless bass. All right, and then when I record, you notice that you're seeing the signal on track 2, but you're also seeing the signal on track 1 because everything is going there. So basically, the inputs are here. Okay, I'm recording to this track, but the output is coming from track 1. So when I record it, okay, all right, none of that makes sense, but turn this off. Okay, so I recorded that, and then if I go to the next track, once again, I got to change the channels on this. And the reason why you change the channels is because you want to make sure that they are all receiving, sounds. Basically, it's just like general MIDI. If I have everything on channel 1, then whatever sound I change track 2 to, track 3 is going to change to the same sound. So I don't want, if you want a different sound, you got to put it on a different channel, basically. Delta there, go there, and let's say, I don't know, sweet pad. Let's put it on that. All right. Once again, I do have to set these back to Omni because I had it set on just those individual channels. So you don't adjust it for the input, you just adjust it for the actual bank properties and the channel properties over here. All right. Record it. All right. Yeah, so now I can switch it back. Let's see what happens when I switch it to 2. Now watch. Okay, hold on. Did I switch the right one? Let me see. Switch this to. Well, maybe it does let you do. I'm from the old school. You always have to change the channel. So I'm like, sometimes I was like, okay, well, if it works and you don't have to change the channel, then that's fine. Let's do. But up here, of course, you'll see the sounds right here. So you can definitely change stuff up here. So I know that's a sweet pad. But when I added it to channel 3, it set this up automatically. So it's registering because I recorded it from channel 3. It's still recorded that way. All right. And then, yeah, so you keep going with the inputs. I thought it was this one. No. GM2. Nope. Okay. I guess not. So I guess you can just do 16. So if you had 16 MIDI tracks or 15 MIDI tracks, including this one synth, then you could do it that way too as well. Or you can add a synth over here to the right side. Go to where the instruments are. And you can click on it. And it used to be a synth rack up here. I don't know. I don't see my synth rack up here. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm sorry. It's at the bottom. That's why I couldn't see it. Can I drag this up? There we go. And I can minimize this. There you go. So there's a synth rack to the right. So you could also just drag and drop whatever sound or module you want down here and then deal with it here versus actually creating an audio track or creating a separate instrument track. So then you just create 16 MIDI tracks and then you can go about your business and do it that way. I have one video where I go into in-depth process of using TTS, how to adjust the parameters up because there's a lot that you can do with TTS. I think this is correct, but I believe this was made by Roland, if I'm correct. I think, don't quote me on that. But when this originally came out, TTS has been around with Cakewalk for, I don't know, probably 20 years now, 15 years or so. I don't know how long it's been, but yeah. So hopefully they help. I know you asked about inputs, so that is, yeah, separate inputs to work in TTS. So yeah, that's how you do it. So just make sure that you have it set on Omni. So no matter where that means it's going to receive the information from whatever channel you plugged in. Yeah. Okay. Was there any other questions? Okay. Well, if nobody has any other questions, I still got to figure out where this thingamajiggy is. I don't know. Missing something. I want so badly to record more videos. There's a bunch of questions that I have to answer for some people, and I create this little kind of sheet, not a sheet, but just where I download. If you all like have followed any of the videos on the channel, I have a series called Answering Your Questions, or Your Cakewalk Questions. And not really a series, but it's a playlist basically. And on there, I went through and I just like answered all of these little questions that I receive. It's on the pictures, that's where it's at. So, and it's under Cake Tutorials, which is another playlist that I have too as well. But it's called Answering Your Questions. So, and I take all these questions, and I just got some recent questions. So these are some of the things that you're going to be seeing coming up. Degatang asked, are you aware of a way to quickly fix a not so tight performance? Recording something, need my beats to align with the project. Just kind of dealing with what you were talking about with Quantize. So, but except this is dealing with audio transits to match the grid. So this is something we'll talk about Audio Snap, and that's based off of my 8 ways to record drums series. Okay, Big Pop, you said maybe you had the inputs wrong. Yeah, just double check that. Like most time, if you're ever having problems recording anything dealing with MIDI or audio, check that input, check the output, check the channels, the bank, all the good stuff. Can I use keys to navigate and arrange your tracks? So work on that. But I got a bunch of questions that I've received, and what I try to do is I go through all of the comments that I receive on YouTube and compile those things so that way I can make videos out of them. But I think one of the next videos I'm gonna do is gonna be like where I'm quickly gonna I'm gonna edit like tedious edit. I'm gonna edit it where it's gonna be like bam, 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 bam. I'm just gonna hit like maybe 20 questions in one video, and I'm just gonna go through each one of them, and then I'll have them chaptered so that way you just say, hey, if you want to just learn how to do this, you'll go straight to that chapter, and if you want to watch it just for that part, that's cool. But I'm gonna get back into making longer videos. That's why I'm glad I've been doing these lives. Because for one, I like talking, I like sharing, especially when I learn something new. And I'm learning a lot of new stuff lately. I pretty much think I'm finished working on the first vocal preset template that I'm going to start selling. Now I want to work on one that's like for 80s, like that 80s sound, and then I want to work on like the 50s sound, kind of like the Steven Sanchez song. I don't know if you all heard. You probably heard it because it's been on the radio a lot. Until I Found You is a really cool song, and that it's a good way to bring back those qualities of those old 50s and 60s and even 40s records, where everything was really like reverb heavy and just not always, but just for those intimate like love songs. So I'm working on creating a few different mixes so that way I can get some stuff out summertime. So yeah, I think it'll be helpful to you all. Now, Sebastian, I saw a question pop up. How do you put a MIDI clip to an exact place or snap to a specific place? Okay. All right. Well, the first way that you can do it is say for instance, I wanted to take this record one part, and it's not labeled right now, but we know that it's the synth sound that I started with on the track one. All right. Up here. Oh, sorry. Let me move this out the way again. I'm sorry. Yeah, when I get to talking, I keep forgetting to move stuff. But up here at the top, there is a module. I'm gonna move it over too as well. I'm gonna move it in the middle right now so you can see it. Maybe you can see it a little better. All right. There is a part that's called snap. All right. And you can set the snap intensity. All right. You can change, there's a whole bunch of things you can do with this. The snap to the nearest audio zero crossing, magnetic test. You can do markers, clips, whichever. Right now it's set on 1/64th note. I do not want it on 1/64th note. But let's say I was off an eighth note. All right. Let's say that this is B2. Okay. Let's switch this right here so we can see me. So measure 2, beat 1, 0 ticks. Remember I said that the eighth notes, 16 notes, 240, 480, 720, 0. Okay. So the eighth note is going to be 480. Right. So my nearest eighth note is right here. If I want to just put it there, when I drag it, it's only going to go to eighth notes. So it'll either go to 2, it'll go to 480, 2, or it'll go to the next one, which is right here, which is measure 2, beat 2, and 0, 0. So this is the easiest way. If you had the snap tool on, you can just move it to where you want it to move, or you can right click on it. And let me make sure I know what I'm doing. I haven't done it this way in a while. There's a way where you can actually set where the clip begins and where it ends. Let me see. Rename clip, group clip looping region, edit. Is that what I'm looking for? View? Nope, that's not it. Maybe that was an older version of Cakewalk. Create selection. Interesting. Well, I guess that part is not on there, but another way you can do it is like double clicking, like I said, on the piano roll. And once you have the resolution up here, same thing. I can click on this, change it to whatever I wanted. So if I want it to be quarter notes, I can take this note and okay, hold on. I got to put quarter notes on this, I guess. Will it allow me to slide it that way? Okay, making me a liar. Make me a liar. I know it doesn't work like that. There's a snap option that should be on here. Where is it at? Send to MIDI notes. Snap to MIDI events. Oops, I ain't meant to do that. Okay. You give me something else to look at, Sebastian. I showed you one way. There are other ways to go about doing this, but I guess I'm gonna have to figure out snap to, snap by. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Snap to. Nope. Snap to. Well, I guess that is right. Is that quarter notes? Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Maybe if I want to hold notes. Yeah, that's weird though. That's off still. All right. Anyway, that's I'm glad you figured it out. I got to figure out that part. It's another. I mean, it's some other ways to do it, but I like I said, piano roll mainly. The only thing I use piano roll really for is when I'm trying to split up like some MIDI drums that I recorded. Maybe I recorded on like my little electronic drum set, or I programmed some stuff and I'm trying to split them up. So I have everything on separate tracks. That's when I use a piano roll. Cause I mean, I play piano, so I don't really need to use it as much. Me personally, I kind of like to just record stuff out versus trying to like go on there and click on the notes, then make sure they're the right length and all that. That's just, it's easy for some people. It's tedious for me, but, or like I said, you can go to the staff view and I can look at a note. Of course, there's all the stuff that I changed earlier. Okay, so then I can change whatever part I'm looking at. Pick tracks. So we're on track 1. Right. Then I can tell that this is like not in time. Then I can be like, okay, well, let me, like if I quantize it first, I'll make sure I'm looking at the right track too as well. Pick tracks. Should be on track 1. I wonder why it's in bass clef though. Is that the right sound? That's not the right sound. Did it change sounds on me? Let me see. Uh-oh, I soloed everything. Oh, that's right, I forgot I gotta solo this one. Yeah, so that ain't the right sound. Somehow that got changed. Let me go back to this again. If you don't see the options for that, like this one is an actual instrument track, so you don't really see the MIDI section right here. It just makes you click MIDI at the very bottom, and then it'll switch to the MIDI part. So this, let's put this on channel 4. I guess. I don't remember what the sound was that I used. It was some type of synth, something. I don't know. Somehow the sounds got changed probably when I started doing all the editing. Yeah. So, yeah, cool. Now, when I go back to the view, the staff view, I was wondering, I was like, why does this sound like this? Okay. And the reason why it's off sync too now, because I remember I was playing around with the groove quantize and stuff. That's why I was like, why is everything out? So, but if I knew that this note really should be 200, I can simply just type 00 in it. I know this is very tiny. You probably can't even see it, but here, let's do it like this. This always tends to help so you can see things a little clearer. Okay, that's a little better. All right, oops, I didn't mean to do that. So on here, you can see that like I have 20200. So originally it was 066. So I know that if I wanted to be on 8th notes or on the 16th notes, the first beat's got to be 0, then 240, 480, 720. It's always going to be that as long as it falls on 16th notes, unless I wanted to go a little bit ahead of the beat or a little bit, behind the beat. And if that's the case, you can definitely go in here and just readjust that section. But that's one way too. You can just do this. And a lot of times when I quantize, because if you're a visual learner, when it quantizes, you can't really tell. Even when you look at the piano roll, little boxes don't really tell you anything. But this will tell me a lot. Like I said, if you don't read music, then it won't help. But I can know that this is a 16th note. I could actually zone this part in too as well, so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm doing a like a little snapshot, so just makes it easier to see. I get tired of like on I'm so used to editing the videos where I can zoom in. I hate when I can't zoom in on here. Like I know this section right here. Ooh, and I can even trace it too. Look at that. I'm gonna start doing tutorials like that. So like I know this section right here this is a 16th note. Okay. And the next note is a dotted eighth note. So that would be one full beat, basically. 16th note, fourth a beat. A dotted eighth note is 3/4 of a beat. So I know that would be one beat. But the problem is it starts a little late. So if this is a quarter rest, that's beat 1, then this really should be on beat 2, if that's the way I intended it. And then everything else is kind of off too as well. So even though on the notation, you'll look at it and it might look like the right note, it might look the way you wanted to do. But when you look at the properties of it and you click on it, you'll see, oh, you know what? So I can right click on it, and this one is at 242. And where should it be at? It should be at 240. But it's close enough so I can keep it there. And then this one is at 556. So that's not where I wanted to be at. It should have been, I don't know, it should have been at 720 maybe. Or I should have been at 480, depending on. So once I get in here, I play with it and I listen to it. But yeah, just edit it, listen to it until you get it the way you want it to be. It does help when stuff is not perfectly in sync, because it sounds monotonous. I don't know. It's just something about when a drummer is like late behind, or they laid back, or when they play like ghost notes, or like some of those elements you can't really get. That's why people use loops and samples so much now, because they're trying to get those real elements of a real band, of a real person playing, basically. All right. Okay. Yeah. I think that's cool. All right, you all. It is that time. It's been an hour. I'm probably gonna be on a little longer tomorrow, but I feel my eyes getting heavy now. So, if you are new and you just tuned in, you never seen me before, just let you know it's still going on. I haven't advertised enough, maybe because I haven't received a lot of submissions. I've received some, but I'm mainly looking for something with vocals on it. So if it's has vocals in it, I'm really concentrating on vocals. But I am mixing, basically mixing song the free version of the mix, which means that I'm really going to spend a lot of time on the vocals, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the instruments. I'll try to make them sound better, if I can. But I'm just trying to make sure that the vocals are cool, because I'm trying to create different vocal templates to work for that. So if you have a song that you want me to mix, then definitely send that to that email. All right. Also, feel free to find me on all the other platforms, Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram, etc. So yeah. All right, on Sebastian. I'm glad I was able to. Sometimes I'm scared, man. Sometimes I'm scared because I'm like, please don't let them ask a hard question. Big Poppy, yeah, it is bedtime. I feel it. My wife already told me. She's like, are you coming? I said, yeah, I'm going to be there soon. I'm like, I'm trying to get back into after April's over. Yeah, I'm not going live every day, though. I'm trying to keep it live once a week, though. Everybody, enjoy your night. And if you happen to see this after I stream, take care. Be blessed. All right. Love y'all. Peace.